those yesterday. Not going to bother opening them up to show them. You know where they are. So those are there. Gluteus maximus. Big old butt muscle in the back there. So gluteus maximus. We peel off the gluteus maximus, and we can see the gluteus medius right here underneath it. So big old gluteus medius right under the gluteus maximus. Gluteus medius. Yeah, let's just point that out now too, actually, while we're at it. Right below that is the piriformis. Piriformis is this big old muscle right here underneath the medius. So piriformis. So we had medius and then piriformis. Gluteus maximus are removed. Put that back there. Okay. Tensor fascia latae, the Starbucks muscle, is going to be this muscle right here towards the anterior superior portion of the leg here, or I should say proximal portion of the leg here. See, tensor fascia latae is this one, and the tensor fascia latae is going to connect to the iliotibial tract. It's a big giant tendinous sheath that runs down the side of the thigh. So when you tense your thigh and you get that really solid side to it on the side of your leg there, that's the tensor fascia latae pulling on the iliotibial tract and making it taut. So that's the iliotibial tract there with the tensor fascia latae. Okay. The gracilis is going to be this big old muscle that runs right along the medial side of the thigh here. So right on the inside, runs straight up and down. It's the gracilis. Okay, now you have a series of muscles in here. There's a tiny little wedge here before it gets lost under some blood vessels. This guy is going to be the pectineus right in there. Tiny little wedge that gets lost in some blood vessels almost right away there. So it's a tiny little wedge right up here at the top. Okay, so that's the pectineus. Now, I'm adding a muscle to this too, the adductor brevis. It's going to be right along with the longus and magnus, basically makes a triplet with them. The adductor brevis is going to be this little tiny wedge right under the pectineus where you can see some pencil markings. So see that? Somebody put pencil markings in that little wedge down in there. That's the adductor brevis right down in there. It's basically the little indentation right underneath the pectineus. So that's the adductor brevis right down in there. So you have the pectineus on top and the adductor brevis right beneath it there. See that? The little indentation. Mm-hmm. Okay, on the other side, we have the adductor longus. That's going to be this big old guy here. It's the adductor longus. It's this big guy here. And then the adductor magnus is going to be this big beefy muscle here. Let me remove this one here actually to get a better look at it. Adductor magnus is going to be this one that's basically right under the gracilis. So adductor magnus is right under the gracilis here. Okay. So we had the pectineus was that first little tiny wedge. The adductor brevis was the little indentation. Adductor brevis is a little indentation. The adductor longus is this big bulge here. Adductor longus. And then finally the adductor magnus right down on the side directly beneath the gracilis there. Okay? And then the gracilis was this guy traveling along the side. Now I removed this guy. This guy is the sartorius. The sartorius is this one that makes a big giant cross-country travel. Sartorius is this guy that makes a big giant cross path here. This is sartorius.
That's medial.
It basically goes from medial to almost lateral. And I guess medial to anterior, but yeah, it's headed towards the lateral direction there. So yeah, it's a big giant crossing muscle here. I believe it's the longest muscle in the body, but I'm not 100% on that. That's the sartorius. Let's see. Okay, we did those. Let's see. Yeah, okay, we did those. Okay. The quadriceps muscles, going to be these four right on top here. Quadriceps muscles right here. And so of the quadriceps, we first have the rectus femoris, is this guy right here. Rectus femoris is this big old beefy one right on top. On either side of him, we have the vastus lateralis and the vastus medialis. So vastus lateralis, vastus medialis, vastus lateralis, vastus medialis. And if we lift up the rectus femoris, we get the vastus intermedius in the middle. So it's going to be vastus medialis, intermedius, lateralis. Vastus medialis, intermedius, lateralis. And the rectus femoris went right on top of the vastus intermedius there.
And vastus medialis, it ends right here.
The vastus medialis is
Oh, I'm sorry,
this guy.
lateral.
The lateralis, yeah, it ends right up under here. Yep, it basically comes up under the tensor fasciae latae there,
Okay.
right under the iliotibial tract. Mhm. Okay. On the back side of the leg, we have the hamstring group, of which we have the biceps femoris. That's going to be this guy towards the outside. Is the biceps femoris towards the outside, towards the lateral side here. This is the biceps femoris. And then on the medial side, we have the semi-twins, which is going to be the semitendinosus, which is on top. Semitendinosus on top. Tendinosus on top. And it has a big, giant, long tendon associated with it, too. And on the underside, we have the semimembranosus. So the semitendinosus sits right on top of the semimembranosus. So looking at it in place here, we have semitendinosus on top and the semimembranosus beneath it. So tendinosus, membranosus. Okay, so the semi-twins, part of the hamstring group there. And we have the biceps femoris on the outside here. Okay. We did the sartorius, the popliteus. Going to be this little muscle that curls right around down by the knee here. So popliteus is just this little muscle that curls down by the knee. So popliteus, just right down there by the knee. Hence the popliteal area there, the name. The tibialis anterior, going to be this big old muscle that's right here near the tibial crest there, the anterior crest of the tibia, tibialis anterior. Big old beefy muscle right in front of the tibia. We're going to have the flexor digitorum, this guy right here, that much like our our extensor digitorum right here, much like our extensor digitorum on the hand, is going to come down and spread out to a bunch of the toes, basically extend all the digits at once. So it's this big old guy here. And just like on the hand, we've got an extensor retinaculum down here as well, around the foot, around the ankle there. So you have an extensor retinaculum there. And the extensor digitorum travels underneath. Let's see. The peroneus, or fibularis longus, is this one on the lateral side here. Basically comes down the side of the leg and wraps around the ankle there. This will be the fibularis, or peroneus longus. This one here runs around the side of the leg.
Lateral.
Yeah, it's on the lateral side there. And then on the back of the leg, we have the gastrocnemius, is the big old calf muscle. Gastrocnemius is the big old calf muscle. The gastrocnemius. And then immediately below the gastrocnemius, we have the soleus, which, oops, there goes that rubber band. You can see if we pull off the gastrocnemius on the underside here. So we have the soleus, but the gastrocnemius sitting right on top of it. So it's our soleus, big old gastrocnemius. You can also see it if we pull that off, we now see the soleus from that side. Okay, and I think that's it.